Some of you know I presented here before with the fair tax. And when we were talking about the fair tax, we were talking about reducing or eliminating taxes on production, savings, and investment. I should have realized that it really was the way we'll get the corporations moving is just get the millennials to move in. That's
they want
presentation, so that's it. Everything is not serious. I want to, first of all, I think we had unbelievable candidates here, don't you think? Everyone in this room is an expert in the area of politics and has seen many, many candidates, and we're pretty lucky, pretty fortunate to have two great ones. And your presentation is unbelievable. We can go on and on and on in terms of your enthusiasm for it. And but the interesting part about it, you said one thing that is really critical, and that is who gets what out of this thing. Well, there was a thing passed today in the U.S. Senate in terms of the Democrats with the Iran deal. And if you follow that thing, it's the exact same thing. Who gets what out of the Iran deal? The corporation leaders and the global corporatists can't wait to move into Iran and make the deals. And that's what the problem is. And if anybody thinks that we can somehow compete with that kind of power, well, it's a great idea, it just isn't going to happen. Some of you may know me in terms of my involvement. I was involved with the fair tax as the director for it for the state. Basically, the fair tax to eliminate all taxes on production, which seems to make good sense, investment and savings, and then also with the Convention of States in terms of Article 5, Mark Levin's book and some of the things on that. And as a result of those two efforts, found out very quickly that the problem was a lot bigger for us. And as some of you may or may not be aware, but as we're being, in some ways, so preoccupied with these kinds of activities and events, our enemies are destroying the country. And these are, in so many ways, just a diversion. Get all our attention, all our energy, all of our resources to go into this just to kind of hold on to what we have. When in fact, what's going on right now is they are organizing everywhere, everywhere. I had all kinds of things planned, but I knew that it's late and whatever in terms of videos. But if you go on the internet and you Google some of these social media organizing sites, it'll scare you to death. Because if you think what's really going on at this point, you have no idea if you start, unless you get really deep into it. When the President of the United States said, years ago now it seems like, he wanted to transform the country, he's only started, like maybe at 10%. That's it. And so what we decided then is, as we were looking at the fair tax and Convention of States, and looking at all the challenges that we had, and looking at the conservative movement, and trying to figure out how are we going to really bring about some kind of change, it kind of an epiphany hit me. And that is that it's not going to work. We can't do it. We can't compete. We can't get the money. We can't get the resources. And the other problem with it is our side is working. They're producing. You cannot go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to work all day long, and now, okay, I'm going to get all organized. It just doesn't work that way. And so we came together, and it wasn't called IConnectAmerica. It was just an idea. And what's your grandson's name?
It's my nephew, Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle came up with it, really, IConnectAmerica, in one of our meetings. And he basically said, wait a second, let's start dealing with what we're about, and that is the individual. And so IConnectAmerica. We have a number of individuals in here who are actively engaged and members and supporters. We haven't really come up with the exact term at this point they're involved. Can you just stand up and let everybody see you so they know that I'm just not some lunatic up here. See, these are also lunatics. All right, thank you. We're all together on this thing and involved with this. And so let me give you, I'm going to give you about, I'm going to go quick and then see if there's any questions. I put a sheet on there for you to look at. We're forming, though, a business, not a nonprofit. You know, many say, well, let's form a nonprofit. Well, reality is, at this point, given what's going on politically in this country, it's not very likely that the IRS would approve us. That's pretty clear. When our goal and mission would be to eliminate the IRS and do a lot more than that. So we didn't think it would happen. The other part of it is we wanted to go back to what it is we're really about as a country. What is it? Why did we even form a country? And everybody knows that. To be successful, to raise your family, to have a good community. All this junk to get rid of. All this stuff over here dealing with this stuff that people want to have control and power and just dominate our lives. No. The reason our country was formed was to get away from all of that. And everybody knows that. Everybody in this room is an expert on that. You've been involved with campaigns and all. So I'm telling you everything you know. But then the question comes down is, what are we doing then to change it? So what IConnectAmerica, what makes it exceptional are a couple of things. First of all, it's based on the idea that every individual has unbelievable talents and strengths in this country. Whether you're 12, whether you're retired, all that wisdom right now is just sitting there. We call it cognitive surplus. Think about it. All your experiences, all your wisdom, all the stuff you know is now just sitting there. And so one of the first things we want to do with IConnectAmerica is figure out ways for you to start getting all that information out there. Now you can look at every generation, millennials, young people, our kids in high school, younger kids, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, no matter what, Chamber of Commerce, every organization is interested in doing things that are going to create success. So that's what we want to do. And how we're going to do it is this. We are going to want you, and this is a national movement that we're starting, to start putting together your ideas. So, think about two things. Have you ever looked at the television, the news, and just about ready to throw something at the TV? Yeah. And then the next thing after you wanted to throw something, you said, why don't we do it this way? Or what's wrong with you? Why aren't we doing it like this? Okay, we want you to take that, why aren't we doing it like this, and put it into an idea. And you say, well, okay, so what? IConnectAmerica will take that idea and help you format it. That's the first thing. Second thing, you ever wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and worry about what somebody is doing to you? Be it the government, a rule, a regulation, you have a small business, and you say, we can't, you know, I talked to a doctor friend of mine the other day who's going out of the medical profession. He loves being a general practitioner, but the paperwork is killing him. Now, everybody knows that. Well, we multiply that 1,000,000 times over what's going on in this country, and that's what's really destroying us. That's destroying our country. So what IConnectAmerica is going to do is figure out how we can increase liberty. For who? For the individual that wants to make success. That's the first thing. You have an idea, whether it's you have a business, you want to make a business. My wife said to me, we were saying, we're retired, why are you doing this now? She did. She said that today. I said, I don't know, but it seems like a good idea. So, what we're doing is asking everybody to say, okay, you want to do it. I'm going to tell you how to do this in a minute. Then, in terms of, so we call that self-governance. What we want to do is create as many different ideas on how we can increase self-governance. That's the first thing. More control of your life. More control of your life. And it doesn't have to be a big deal. It can be real tiny. Because the reason why we are not really changing and really going after the progressives the way we are is because we think it has to be a $1 billion program. No. The progressives started about 30, 40 years ago, actually 100, but they actually started going in terms of their organizing, because I know I was involved, as some of you know, at the local level. And that's why we need to get these two individuals elected. At the local level. And that's what we want you to do. You're thinking about what you can do in the area of self-governance. So if you have a great idea in terms of, okay, I can have more control over my life, we want to work with you. Second thing, economic freedom. You have a business, you want to start a business, you're involved with a business. We know today there are more regulations all over the place that anybody can deal with. And unfortunately, and this is the really tragic part of it, those regulations are being counterproductive. Talk to any person who is physically challenged, and they know if you have a physical challenge, a legitimate physical challenge, 40 years ago you had greater opportunities for success in the workplace than you do today. The statistics bear it out. And the reason is because businesses won't hire you because they can't afford it. It's not that they don't want to, they can't afford it. Whereas years ago, people figured out why they got together. One other thing in the area of business, in terms of thinking about it, we have dozens and dozens of regulations on businesses today. And those regulations are destroying business. We know that. What we're talking about is the marketplace determining what should be success or not success. Why? You go to a business today, you go to any store, you don't like the way you're treated, you don't go back there. That is much more of a powerful factor in controlling what goes on in that business than any regulation. We know that, the marketplace. So economic freedom. The third area is religious liberty. Those three areas, self-governance, economic freedom, and religious liberty. Religious liberty, we don't talk about a lot, but it's basically the grounding of this country, religious liberty. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to be religious. It doesn't mean that you have to believe in God. It doesn't mean believe that you have to believe in really anything. What religious liberty really means is this: your rights do not come from government. They come either from God or the natural community, like our founders said, who believed in nature, but they did not come from government. Those three areas, self-governance, economic freedom, religious liberty. All right, so how are we going to do this? You have an idea. We have partners set up, some of them stood up here, that are going to help you frame that idea. Put it together. Put together the text, the tools, coach you, train you, give you expertise if you need it. And then once it's set up, we're going to put it together in a crowdfunding. Some of you may know the term. And we're going to get funding for it. So if you have an idea that costs $10,000, let's say you wanted to put together a little newsletter, a blog, because you are so angry about what's going on, you want to write it. Just think if we had 3 million people in this country tomorrow started writing about liberty. Not people who were part of some corporation, some great news media outfit, some foundation, but just folks who believe in this country. We will start changing this country at the local level. And so that's what we're talking about. But you have to have money. We will get the money for you. You don't think so? Go to the Google and look up Kickstarter. You don't know what Kickstarter is? Look it up. It's a billion dollar industry. People are giving money because they want to see if crickets, how long they crick. Or how you can take artwork and you can take something. I'm being a little funny here with my tongue in my cheek, but the point is, I want to take artwork and I want to throw it on the wall. And I want to see what it resembles psychologically. Would you give me $15,000? You'll get it. They get it. What we're talking about is funding for liberty. IConnectAmerica. So what we're going to be doing nationally, starting here and growing out, is we're going to have individuals join, become part of it. Now, there is, you say, well, what's the catch? $5. Here's the deal. If you have this great idea, and you wake up, and I know you do. So here's the other thing. Unfortunately, our government and everybody else thinks we can't do anything. You think about that. We can't do anything. What we're based on is that we can do everything. That's what our country was grounded on. Strengths. That we have talents. So, you have this great idea. But if you want to get involved with us, you need to support someone else's great idea with a contribution. $5. That's all it is. You connect, now you're part of the team. Because our view is on it, we want everyone to start connecting. And then they will come to you for expertise like you went to them. And that's what our country was founded on. IConnectAmerica, we believe it's a new idea that really is grounded in what our country was about. So I want to thank you. Take a look at that. Sign up. We have some sign-up sheets. And you have the email there, rather the website. Get a hold of us. And we're just at the beginning now. And thanks for listening, and make sure you keep IConnectAmerica in your mind. Thanks a lot.